is Mr. Brian Aganyira, and commonly known as Mr. Azolla. Why Mr. Azolla? Because I own, or we have what we call Azolla farming here in Seta Mkono, known as Bakuku Azolla farmers. One of the prominent Azolla farmers, based on the time we've stayed in the business of Azolla farming, based on the experience that we've garnered, based on how also we are capable of training other farmers out there to ensure that they also venture into Azolla farming.
One may want to know, what is Azolla?
Well, Azolla is an aquatic plant. When we say an aquatic plant, we mean a plant that is entirely grown on water. Predominantly, Azolla originates from the swamps, from the lakes, from the rivers, or we would say water bodies. And then, being an aquatic plant, what is the use of this Azolla? The use of Azolla is a feed to livestock. Now the livestock we talk about cows, the cattle, we talk about goats, sheep, chicken, ducks, turkey, we've got fish and rabbits. Now other farmers also use it in soil fertilizing, especially those ones are into rice farming in the swamps, those ones who are doing vegetable farming, especially in the nursery bed, and so on and so on. Now what makes Azolla to stand out and to be one of the best and the cheapest ways one can supplement his or her feeds is one, it's going to reduce your cost on feeding. How? Given the fact that it is one of the fastest growing crops or plants, I would say, in the universe. Because Azolla, if I planted Azolla today, I'm expecting to have my first harvest between 7 to 14 days. Now, after my first harvest from the first planting phase, I'm going to have harvest every after 3 to 4 days. This makes it fast growing and also multiplies at a very high rate. And then it helps you save up to 30% in feed costs. How do you save the 30%? When you look at a farmer, let's say, who is doing chicken farming, and your chickens feed on 10 kilograms, what we best advise, or what is best advised, is 30% of the 10 kilograms of total complete feeds. Now what is 30% of the 10 kilograms? That is 3 kilograms of Azolla. You add in 7 kilograms of complete mixed feeds. Now what do we mean by complete mixed feeds? Complete mixed feed is the feed that you've been giving to your livestock before you got the Azolla. For chicken, I would say, what is complete mixed feed? That is feed with chachu, feed with maize bran, feed that you've added in concentrated feeds. If you don't use concentrates, where you've mixed the mukene, the soya bean, the maize, the maize bran, or maybe the mukene, and so on and so on. That is what we term as complete mixed feeds. So Azolla does not come in so much as a substitute of, let's say, concentrate. It comes in as a standalone. Why we say 30%? Science has proven that if the life of a livestock is reduced, or maybe is, let's say you change up to 30%, it's not going to have a big challenge in its growth. For example, when you look at the chicken in the villages, you find them, the biggest percentage is the greeny leaves and the vegetation that they do what? That they feed on. So what we do here is the 30% caters for any other substitution or supplement. But then you cater for the 70%. Why 70% complete mixed? Because it has got all the nutrients that you need. Whereas Azolla is so much rich in protein, up to 30 to 35%. The other mixed feed is rich in vitamins, amino acids, proteins, you've got salt, you've got irons, you've got calcium, you've got maize bran, you've got a lot of ingredients. So now these 70% ingredients help the livestock to continue growing without any redundancy, without any reduction in the speed or the growth rate of your livestock. I think what mostly inspired me are the Kenyans. I think in Uganda we are quite lacking out something, especially when it comes to knowledge uptake and taking up new innovations. One, I would say we are a little bit lagging because we don't wish for ourselves. That's one of the challenge. Back in 2022, when I first learned about Azolla farming through YouTube videos, you know, at that time TikTok had not yet boomed a lot in the country. Through YouTube videos, I learned about Azolla farming from Kenya. But then the question was, where do I get the seeds from Uganda? It was very challenging to get seeds in Uganda. That those ones who had them, they were not willing to sell because they wanted to be the only ones with the knowledge. And then to those ones who were willing to sell, they were selling expensively. They would tell you a kilo is at 100 plus thousand. Now someone tells you the minimum you can buy from his farm is 5 kilograms. That makes it 500,000. Now meaning for someone who is starting only to buy the seeds, you have not bought the tarpaulin, you have not bought the shed net, you're already in 500. So we got it from a farmer called Linet in Kenya, who gave us this Azolla at 50,000 a kilo by then. And then we had to start with our first Azolla in 2023 in March. That is majorly what inspired that. And the fact that we are also farmers into chicken. That inspired us a lot, and we really thought, why not try out this? And indeed it has done great to us, because we've not had many challenges ever since we got it. We've managed to have our Azolla up to date and up to tomorrow and any other days. Azolla is grown on water. What you need to grow Azolla is any media that can hold water. People often ask me, can I use drums? Can I use tarpaulin? Here at Bakuku, as you've seen or as you're going to see, we use tarpaulins, Tundubali. You can use Tundubali. The depth of Azolla pond is only about 1 foot. That 1 foot deep. The width and the length depends on your size of the land you have or the size of the material you're going to use. However, keeping in mind that the bigger the space, the better the results. Why the bigger the space? Now, I've had farmers call me, can I use the white jerrycan, those white drums that are in square form, or the blue drums? The blue drums that are cylindrical but then sliced in the middle to make 2 parts. Now, the challenge with this is that the water into these medias is too small. Like in these drums, you're going to add 3 to 4 jerrycans. This water often heats up and leads into stress of the seeds. And then you need water. After that, you need cow dung, and then you'll need loam soil. We best advise loam soil. Why? Azolla, being that it predominantly grows from the swamps, it majorly feeds on the nutrients from the loam soil or the soil that is carried by the water into the streams. Now, here we say now, why so much rely on cow dung? That has got many challenges as ammonia gas production takes place. You're having the methane gas being produced, heats up the seeds, and the seeds dry off. So what we do is use the bigger part, loam soil, and add in some little cow dung to try and balance up the pH and of course the fertility in your water for Azolla to really be able to. So Azolla matures, I think it's one of the fastest. I think it is, I would say it is the Ferdinand Omanyala of Africa, because 7 days, you plant today, 7 days you're starting to see growth, because Azolla triples every after 3 to 4 days. Now the trick here is, the more the seeds in your pond, the faster the multiplication and the bigger or the mature the seeds or the plants you're going to harvest every after 3 to 4 days. But given the fact that at start, you may not be able to buy a lot of seeds to fill up the pond size that you are able to harvest in 3 to 4 days, you wait for quite longer days, 7 days to 14 days. But then after your harvest, the trick is leave at least 50% of expected Azolla in your pond. What is 50%? A situation whereby when you stand close to your pond, you do not see water, but only see the Azolla. With that, I promise you that your Azolla is going to continue growing, and of course, you will be able to thrive, but also ensuring that you have more than 1 pond. Why 1 pond? Of course, we know there are challenges with Azolla farming as well. The sunlight can hit a lot. The water, maybe you might have over-fertilized 1 pond, but when you have different ponds, you pick seeds from 1 pond and transfer into the other pond that is having issues. You harvest off the one having issues and replant. So you keep on interchanging your Azolla, and you find yourself having Azolla for a long period of time. Just like you've seen, or you're going to see in at our farm, that we have 3 ponds. We rotate the seeds throughout the 3 ponds. This is the Ferdinand Omanyala of Africa. Why I say the Ferdinand Omanyala? Because I doubt if there is any crop that you grow and fully matures after 7 to 14 days. Why? This grows by remultiplying. That one seed remultiplies 3 times in 3 to 4 days. So if a farmer in his or her farm is having 100 plants in his or her pond, your pond is going to multiply 3 times. That means after 3 times, after the 3 to 4 days, you're going to be having 300 plants in your pond. So now the 300, what you do, you come and pick around the 100 plants, you leave the other ones to continue growing. So it grows within 7 to 14 days. Management of the pond. Those ponds, like the small one you're going to see, it has lasted for more than 2+ years where it is. What matters is water, soil, and the quality of the seeds in that pond. Otherwise, it can even stay for 10 years. What you do is simply this. During dry season, we often change the water every after 3 weeks or 1 month. But then during rainy season, because we are receiving rain, we don't advise, or we don't put our Azolla in a place that does not allow water in or the sunshine in. Whereas we provide a shade net, this shade allows in water to do what? To be added into the pond. So what you do, you change the water. In rainy season, you can reduce on the water because it keeps on coming in. You reduce on the water and then add in new water, or wait for the rains to come. As you change the water, you also add in either loam soil or incorporating also cow dung. That is fully decomposed, not dry cow dung. One farmer last week was here and informed me, I have a solar dryer. I want to pick my cow dung and dry it using the solar dryer for 3 weeks. But after you pick that and put it in the water, it's going to go back into its freshness. The gas is going to be produced, the methane, the heat, the seeds are going to stress, and they're eventually going to die off. That's what happens. Best in Uganda, we are using Azolla as livestock feed. However, for those ones who do farming, if you have abundant, for example, in your nursery beds, the home gardens, you can pick a few of them and put into the soil. It's going to start rotting. And of course, you know, as vegetative matter rots, incorporates into the soil, nutrients are added into the soil, and you find your soil is fully fertilized for the growth of the crops. But predominantly, Kenya, Uganda, Azolla versus livestock. That's what basically happens.
Particularly which livestock?
Particularly,
The chicken.
you see, when we say livestock, apart from dogs and cats, the rest do eat it. Sheep, cows, chicken, ducks, rabbits, and also fish. If you have a pond there of fish, then you come and buy Azolla seeds from us. You go and plant in a fish pond. Wallahi. The fish will enjoy the meal. And eventually, after 2 days, you'll go back to the pond and there's nothing. So what we also advise for such farmers is have independent ponds for Azolla. Now, when you have the capacity and have a lot of Azolla plants at your farm, you can now plant into the fish ponds so that you don't lose the money that you use to purchase these particular seeds. Before, I was known as Mr. Brian. Now I'm known as Mr. Azolla. Why? Because I have proved that Azolla is possible here in Uganda. Why? I earn something from training farmers. When you come at our farm, of course you find you're leaving something. Our farm visits, actually with us, we are very free with our pricing. Our farm visits is 50,000. But then why should I charge a farmer to learn? Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. To charge a farmer to come and learn is not normal. What we do is come at our farm, you choose to pay 50,000 or free of charge by purchasing Azolla seeds. Or even if you're not yet ready, you book your seeds. Say that your 50,000 you could have given us to just eat for nothing. At the later stage, you get seeds and plant at your farm.
Where do you get the market?
The market.
Does Azolla have market in Uganda?
These viewers you're seeing here, after viewing me, they're going to call me. Of course, I'm going to give them a further detailed discussion about Azolla farming. They are going to plant, to come and get seeds, to plant at their farms. And then, my chicken also do what? Feed on. We also have a home garden. We also pick whenever we are not having many customers, and we put there. And our things keep on growing. So, the first market for Azolla farming is you. Do not come here and say, you man, Mr. Azolla, I've seen business in Azolla. I want to plant Azolla for business. I'm not going to advise you, because what if the customers are not there? You're going to start calling me, we don't have the customers. So the best person to venture into Azolla farming is that person who is into livestock farming, whereby what you produce, the first beneficiary of your Azolla are the chicken. Then you can also look at selling out. But when you have something that feeds on your Azolla, to reduce on the pressure of waiting for money, because you're going to start calling everyone. If you're in WhatsApp groups, you just pick numbers and call people, hey, please, we have Azolla. And then you become a nuisance in the community. Yeah, the challenges we face out with Azolla is always during dry season. If you do not have a shade net, as you're going to see in our ponds, the growth rate reduces. Sometimes also color changes. That is brought about by different water conditions. You might find your water is salty, your water, you are in an area where they overspray. But growth continues despite the little color changes. And then the frogs. But then all these have solutions. One, we use the shade net to protect the sunlight. And then the frogs, what you do every after 3 to 4 months, change the entire water. Now after changing, you kill off that life cycle of either mosquitoes or frogs, and then start new life. That's how we manage the challenges. Because one characteristic of a good person or anyone who does something is the ability to identify a challenge and also identify the solution for that challenge. So we have the solutions for the challenges that we really face in Azolla farming.
Young youth, and there are many youth who are outside there. Talking of joblessness, there are no jobs in Uganda.
There are no jobs in Uganda. But now the question is, are you going to keep crying that there are no jobs? No. If you're watching, why not come and learn something? Have your 50 chicken at home. People have land in the village and they are redundant, they are not being used. Why not have a small chicken farm, incorporate in some little Azolla, feed your chicken? That's why for us, despite being employed, we venture into this because it supplements on what we earn, so that we don't keep on complaining towards the government that there are no jobs. However much true that the jobs are needed, but we also need to a little bit try to work around the globe and see that we survive. Because at the end of it all, everyone looks at surviving. Where I see myself in 5 years to come, I would like to ensure that, one, I maintain the name of Mr. Azolla, that title. Because maintaining it means that I'm going to have very many people in Uganda start Azolla farming. That is one thing. And then two, I want to see myself expanding away from here. Because here we are limited by space. We are looking at having a vast big land whereby we have tens of ponds, whereby at a certain point of time, we even start selling Azolla as feeds, not predominantly as seeds, because currently we sell seeds for farmers to go and plant. But I want after 5 years from now, whereby you can call me and say, I want 100 kilograms, I want 200 kilograms to go and feed my chicken, to go and feed my pigs, to go and feed my goats. That's what I'm looking at 5 years from now. For a beginner there who wants to venture into Azolla farm, one thing you should first do is learn from Bakuku Azolla farm. And if you can't learn from Bakuku Azolla farm, look for any other person and do what? And learn. Second thing, ensure that you get quality seeds. Third thing, ensure that your setup is accurate. Ensure that you have at least 1 feet of depth. And then ensure that you have at least multiple ponds. And then lastly, do not use a lot of cow dung in your pond because it will heat up and your seeds will be lost. That's what a beginner outside there. Come visit us, mostly weekend times, very free. We said 50,000 or free, you choose. But we don't want to see idle use coming here every day. They make you fail to work because they just want to come and see and do what? And go back. So we are like, no, either 50,000 or you're purchasing. So you choose what saves you. So come and learn or call us. By the way, we move to farms. Hey, we move to farms, you call us, we come and do setup for you or train you. If you're a group of farmers, invite us. Just identify one able farmer who is going to act as your demonstration farm. We are not dictators in Azolla farming. Why? If you call us as a group, we teach one farmer. That one farmer buys seeds. You start buying from that farmer. Not saying that, now if you want to get seeds, come back to us. That very demo farmer, that one person who started is going to serve all of you because we cannot manage to serve everyone. But what we want to ensure that is everyone is served, whoever needs. So that's how basically we operate. My final message. Bakuku Azolla Farm, located in Seta Mukono, along Jinja Highway. That is opposite Landmark Junior School. There's a Total petrol station. We are just 3 minutes away. We are a call away on the numbers that I've put there. We are a WhatsApp message away. TikTok handles, we are all there. Even if you don't see our numbers or you forget our numbers, just go on Google and type there Azolla Farming in Uganda or type there Bakuku Azolla Farm. You're going to get us. There are a lot of videos on Google that are in line with Bakuku Azolla Farming. Learn about Azolla, understand it best, and if you fear to start big, at least start small. Learn from the small and translate into the big one.